could always select, let's see, I'm going to go back to the regular rectangle shape. And select an object and then get into the, whoops, did I deselect? No, I didn't. Get into the gradient palette, or to select the fill as this gradient right here, and it's going to make this thing into a gradient pattern. If you use that in combination with the gradient palette, you should be able to change a lot of settings on that. So right here, you could click and drag where the gradient starts from and kind of ends. So if you're making something that's a gradient shape, that's it. Or if you take the middle part, and all the same function happens in this gradient palette as well. Okay. And if you want to change the color of the gradients, what I usually do is click and drag that gradient into that little circle that's there, and it changed the one side into a red. If I select blue, click and drag right into this bar, it's going to change this thing into a blue and red gradient. If I click and drag a non-print, it's going to turn itself into a transparent object right there that I can, whoops, didn't do that. Okay. And the gradient type itself, you can go from the center and also change the angle and such from that. That's weird. Okay, so if we reverse the gradient, you can get the, well, basically exploding out, exploding in kind of thing. So if you use a circle shape with that, it might be a better use of this radiant gradient. Okay, so this toggle will switch your gradient backwards and forwards and such. Okay, you could always drag in more colors to this thing if you like. So if I select a green and put it in there, it's going to add a green as well. If I add a blue, that's blue. And if I add yellow, so notice that it's creating more and more of these little anchor points that you could change the gradients area. If you ever want to get rid of some of these colors, just click on that color on the gradient and move it out in space. Oops, move it out. Move it out, and you're kind of left with the original stuff. Okay, so to add gradients, you will just click and drag in. To remove gradients, you will click on this gradient slider and drag out.